His introduction will be very brief because he's preparing for a competition that's upcoming. Benjamin Goodwin, don't smile, Benjamin Goodwin.
I found myself one evening sitting in my lounge chair, scrolling through the headline news apps on my iPhone, quite happily, quite peacefully. All of a sudden, two unruly kids run through the house. What the heck is going on? And chase, upstairs I go. That happened 3 more times within 5 minutes. Finally, I said to them, "What are you doing? Do you know the rules in the house? No running, no screaming." My daughter looks at me and says, "Daddy, why are you yelling?" I said, "I'm not yelling. Do you want to see yelling?" Shortly after that is when I hear this calming, soothing voice. "Are you okay? Grandma, is that you?" Then a little tap on the shoulder. "No, it's me." "Oh, hi, honey." "Are you really okay?" she says. "I'm fine." "Why do you ask?" She says, "Ben, are you sure you're okay? You really don't smile much." Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, welcome friends. Smiles are important. I'd like everyone to take out a pen, pencil, even use your fingers if you have to. Take your pencil or pen, like so, grab it, both ends, and I want you to put it in between your teeth. If you don't have a writing utensil, use your fingers pointing towards each other and do the same thing. Just bite down for a second. Not too hard, because I don't want to hear any screams. You got it. You got it. Great. Nice work. You can take the pen and your fingers out of your mouth. What you've just done is smiled. But even more than that, you've actually released endorphins into your body. Endorphins are pain relievers. Not only that, but you've released serotonin. And serotonin is known as a feel-good chemical. Now, why does any of this matter? Well, smiles cure. When I was a young boy, about 5 or 6 years old, I had the opportunity to go with my dad to visit a man named Bob Peabody. Bob Peabody, I didn't know at the time that I first visited him, actually had cancer. And his cancer was of the mouth. So when I first saw him, I was scared. And I mean really scared. Because he had a huge bandage on his face. And I couldn't see his mouth, his jaw, or even under his eye. That kind of freaked me out. But as my dad and I visited with Bob over the course of a few years, I realized that the smiles that we brought were a cure. Didn't cure Bob's cancer. In fact, it wasn't until later in my life that I realized that cure was not for Bob, but the cure was for me. Because having that experience as a young man allowed me to grow and understand the atrocities of life, things that happen, death, and pain. It all turned out to be a pleasant experience in the end, because I've also found that smiles cure other things. One day my son came home from school and he was in a very bad mood. And he walked in the house like this. I said, Tobin, what's wrong? Oh, nothing. What do you mean, oh, nothing? So I said, don't you smile. And you'll never guess what happened. Actually, you will, because it's the same thing you're doing right now. His mouth started to perk up a bit. Said it one more time, don't you smile. And again, perked up. And on the third time, he had an ear-to-ear grin. Smiles cure. Smiles are also inviting. And that's how I met her. I was sitting at church one day with my buddy John, and we're in Sunday school. And in walks this girl, and the first thing I noticed was that smile. The unfortunate part was my buddy John noticed it also, and he was quicker than I. He asked her on a date. Sadly enough, for him, it didn't work out, because then I got to ask her on a date. A few of those, next thing I know, I'm asking her hand in marriage, and she says, yes, with a smile. The smiles have come and gone. She has to put up with me. Can't expect it to be permanent. But they have always come back, and that's how I know that things are going to be all right. Lastly, smiles are contagious. The science of smiling. Part of the science is that when you smile at someone, whether you know them or not, the mirror neurons in their head trigger a reaction where they actually smile back. And if you revert back to what I said earlier, smiling is a cure. It relieves pain. It releases endorphins. And that's what happens when you smile at someone. Smiles are contagious. When you're walking down the street, when you're at the park, when you're in the halls at work, give someone a glance. Give them a nice smile. I'm not talking one of those creepy clown smiles or the celebrity mugshot smile, but a real, genuine smile. And I guarantee that you will have relieved someone's pain, whether they needed it or not. And that is the beauty and the cure and contagion of a smile. So there I find myself, sitting in my lounge chair, scrolling through the headlines on my phone, when these two unruly kids run through the house. I jump up, follow them up the stairs, and chase with a smile. Mr. Touchdowns.
Thank you, Benjamin. As he just put it beautifully, there's so much to smile about today. So what I'd like to do now is take a moment to invite up Larry as our table topics master, who's going to give us an entirely new thing to smile about. For our guests or new members, this is a chance to come up